All right, Jules, Shaka brought up Nicholas Jackson at Chelsea. There was something we were talking about before the show because rumors were suggesting that Manchester United are monitoring him. What's the likelihood of that happening, or what's the story there?
Yeah, you're right, Alex. I think monitoring is the right word to put it. They, as I said before, they've looked and tried to sign many number 9s already this summer. Each one of them just going somewhere else or not wanting to go to Manchester United. The latest one, and I guess unless Ekitike signs for Liverpool or another club, United are still in it because he would still be on the market, but he prefers to go to Liverpool than to go to Manchester United. And again, I'm not sure if Manchester United can pay right now 80 or 90 million euros for a player like him, but that's another story. So they have to look somewhere else for number 9, and they know Nico Jackson is obviously on the market. He's not going to stay at Chelsea, really. There's no room for him there with, Joao Pedro and the lab signing for the club. And okay, those stats are not too bad, to be fair, in a team that for a long time was just finding his feet. He's not the best number 9 in the world, for sure. I think he's got qualities to do well for United, though. Certainly something that they need in the way Amorim plays. He needs to run the channel. They need somebody aggressive like him. I'm not saying that he's the solution or the answer, but he's certainly better suited and fitted to what Amorim wants to do in that system with the 2 inside 10s and the number 9 in front of them. It would cost you around £40 million, maybe slightly a bit more. But what's for sure, guys, is that there's no room for Haaland anymore and for Zirkzee. So unless you put Cunha there, which is okay, but again, not his best position, you need another number 9. Chidobe Martin is a great talent, but still too young, and he will be in the first team squad. But really, as a number 3, shows behind Cunha and whoever they sign as a number 9. I'm just saying that they're seeing Nico Jackson as a potential interesting signing.
But you want somebody to run the channels. Rasmus Højlund would do that. I mean, one of his qualities as a youngster, very raw, is he'll run the channels, he'll fight with defenders, he'll work hard. If that's the criteria, then
his confidence has taken a hell of a knock.
No, look, I don't think Rasmus Højlund is good enough for Manchester United. I think he's a youngster, he's raw, and I think he's good enough for Man United, to be honest, at the moment, because they're not very good. But he's not good enough to take them to a level that they really should be aspiring to. But if the criteria is for Ruben Amorim wants somebody to run and jump and fight, then that's actually what Rasmus Højlund was pretty good at. I think he needs somebody who's just an all-round better player. Now, you could argue Nico Jackson is a bit more rounded with more experience than Rasmus Højlund. But if that's where United are going now because there's nobody else and throwing bad money after bad money, what's the point in that? What's the point in going, right, we need a striker and we can't get him and he's going to Newcastle, he's going to Liverpool, I tell you what, we'll bring this guy in. Here's another 40 million. It's throwing bad money after bad money at players that really are not good enough. I mean, Nicholas Jackson's not good enough to take Manchester United to the next level. If I was a season ticket holder, I'd be setting it on fire. I mean, seriously. I mean, absolutely. With all respect in the world to these players, this is Manchester United Football Club should be aiming to be amongst the elite in Europe. And where they're fishing at the moment and where they're throwing money at, it just seems to me that it's gone from one bad to another. We look at Anthony, and then there's a list of players that they've paid millions for that are just head scratchers. And this kind of deal for me would add to that. And that's just bonkers in terms of recruitment, in my opinion.
Right then, Blues. Let's talk about what's been buzzing around the media today. And it's another one of those stories that's got everyone talking. The press are absolutely having a field day with speculation surrounding one of our strikers. And frankly, it's the kind of chatter that gets the rumor mill spinning at full speed. Now, we all know how these summer windows work, don't we? 1 minute a player is supposedly settled, the next minute every journalist in London is linking them with a move elsewhere. What's particularly interesting about this latest bout of speculation is how quickly the narrative has shifted from our supposed striking abundance to questions about departures. Before we dive deeper into this, if you're enjoying the content and want to stay ahead of all the latest Chelsea developments, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're bringing you the inside track on everything happening at Stamford Bridge, and trust me, with the way this transfer window's shaping up, you won't want to miss a single update. The timing of all this speculation is fascinating, isn't it? Just as we're supposedly strengthening our forward line, we're hearing whispers about potential exits. It's almost as if the media can't quite make their minds up about whether we're stockpiling talent or preparing for a clear out. What's particularly telling is how quickly these stories gain momentum once they're out there. From a tactical perspective, there's always been questions about how multiple strikers fit into our system. Under the current management structure, we've seen similar situations before where promising players have found themselves squeezed out simply because the numbers don't add up. It's not necessarily about quality. Sometimes it's just mathematics and squad dynamics. The financial aspect of these rumors is equally intriguing. We're talking about significant investment here, and in today's market, every decision has to make both sporting and commercial sense. The figures being bandied about in the press suggest this wouldn't be a small-scale operation if it were to materialize. What's really got people talking is the suggestion that there might not be room for certain players in our current setup. Now, we've heard this song before, haven't we? Last summer, we had similar speculation about various squad members, and not all of it proved accurate. The thing is, football moves fast, and what seems certain in July can look completely different come August. The destination being mentioned in these reports is particularly eyebrow-raising for Chelsea supporters. We're not talking about some foreign adventure here. This is potential Premier League rivals we're discussing. That always adds an extra layer of complexity to any potential deal, doesn't it? There's the competitive element to consider, the optics for the fan base, and the broader strategic implications. From our perspective as Chelsea supporters, we've got to ask ourselves whether this kind of move would actually make sense for all parties involved. Sometimes these rumors gain traction precisely because they seem logical from a certain angle, even if they're completely wide of the mark. The market dynamics this summer have been absolutely mental, haven't they? Players moving for astronomical fees, others staying put despite intense speculation, and clubs scrambling to complete their business before the deadline. In that context, almost any story can seem plausible if you squint. Hard enough. What's particularly interesting is how the media narrative around our striking department has evolved over the past few months. First, we were apparently light up front. Then we were bringing in reinforcements. Now we're potentially selling. It's enough to give you whiplash trying to keep up with it all. The reality is, until we hear something official from the club, everything else is just speculation and educated guesswork. We've all been around long enough to know how these stories develop. Sometimes there's substance behind them. Sometimes it's just journalists filling column inches during a quiet news day. That said, the specificity of some of these reports does make you wonder, doesn't it? When you start hearing concrete figures and detailed explanations of tactical fit, it suggests someone's been doing their homework, even if the final outcome remains uncertain. For now, we'll keep monitoring the situation and bringing you updates as they develop. What's your take on all this speculation, Blues? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and remember to stay tuned for more Chelsea news coming your way.